In terms of the dollar, we haven't really seen too much movement since we last spoke. Price was a little bit bullish, but didn't really go anywhere, to be honest. Pretty much on stream. We were trading here yesterday, and now we're there. So price hasn't really gone anywhere in the space of 24 hours. But the buy still stands in terms of what I'm looking at in the 4-hour chart. Really strong move to the downside there last week. And I'm looking for a continuation of that move, at least back to these lows, but most likely these lows here. Then we'll go from there. Overall, the trend on the dollar is still very much to the upside. We're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. So this bullish move is still at play. And we are seeing some signs that things are slowing down. The fact that we failed to make a higher high here, again, not the best sign in terms of trend continuation. You want price to be taken out high after high, and of course, leaving higher lows. But of course, we haven't taken out any major lows yet. Haven't taken any major lows yet. Haven't even taken out this low here as well. So price is not necessarily showing signs of reversal, just showing signs that we're tiring. And of course, dropping to the 4-hour chart, gauging that momentum, strong push to the upside, followed by a very strong push back down. It's kind of an inverse V-shaped pattern. Does lead me to expect more downside here for the dollar, kind of a bit like a head and shoulder pattern, if you will. Not the cleanest setup in the world, but it does make some sense there. So I'm expecting some downside for the dollar there. Like I said, not long term, but maybe for the rest of the week, we might see a bit of a move down. Not the cleanest chart in the world, so I'm not really that excited about trading USD. Apart from dollar CAD, I do like dollar CAD to the downside. We'll get to that in a minute. But I'm not really a big fan. It's very, very choppy. Yen pairs look a lot better, and we'll go through a bunch of yen pairs shortly as well. But I am favoring a move to the downside there for the dollar. In terms of Euro USD, again, kind of expecting the opposite. However, this does not look very, very clean for a buy, I must say. I said in my weekly analysis that if we do see a bit of a flag form here and price does break to the upside, then once we do take up this high, then the buys might make a bit more sense. Because at that point, we do have some bullish structure to follow. We've got this bullish leg there. We've got the correction, then the higher high. Then we're looking for a higher low. We haven't really got that yet. And altogether, I just really wouldn't be looking to buy euro. And I really wouldn't be looking to sell euro either. Maybe on an intraday level, we might see something like this set up. So I think that could actually be a decent sell. But I wouldn't try and look to take it past the low here. I think if you can get it back to the low, that's a great trade, especially if you get involved in the intraday time frame. You're looking at from that level to that low, 70 pip move, which is pretty good trade for Euro USD. So you get 20 pip stop loss, you're looking at minimum 1 to 3 there. So Euro USD intraday, there might be a nice sell there because we are still seeing some bearish candles there to the downside. So there's still a lot of momentum to the downside. And of course, we're still keeping up the lower highs there as well, which does kind of contradict my bias on the DXY. But as I said, things are very choppy at the moment. So again, I'm staying away until they do clear up and I get some really good opportunities, which hopefully do form pretty soon. But euro, in terms of the smaller term move, I can see a nice setup for shorts. Longs, I can't see that yet quite. It's not quite developed yet. And in terms of the bigger swing, whether we're coming to these lows or we're going to take up the highs there, I'm not too sure yet with euro either. I'm just going to play it day by day and wait for clearer price action and clearer momentum to enter the market. Pound USD, this is a slightly better setup than euro in terms of, okay, we still do have the bearish trend at play. Market still forming lower lows and lower highs. We're still very consistent with these highs as well. So I do like that, and this could be the next one. If that is so, then we're probably going to come back to the lows there. So I can gauge pound USD a little bit better. There's a clearer trend at play. Of course, we have been a bit corrective as well. We did form a higher low here too, but we haven't really taken out any major structure. This high here is still intact. That is a horrible line. Let's do that again. That high there is still intact. So overall, generally speaking, bearish bias there for pound USD. And I did say in the weekly analysis as well, and as we were talking yesterday, that some shorts could look good. Should we break through the lows? Some corrections perhaps to retest the prior low. That could make a load of sense. Haven't really seen a clean break of that low. We did break it, but not really with much momentum or much significance. So it looks like price kind of just trading around that low, deciding whether it wants to break back above or continue bearish. But if we can see a bit more commitment, bit more momentum to the downside. Pullbacks look good, similar to what we got with EURUSD. And perhaps we can probably target the lows down here at 1.22545. But when the higher time frames are looking a little bit more choppy, you can kind of play the shorter term game a little bit more, because whilst you're waiting for the higher time frames to clear up and clean out, you can look for shorter term plays. And then once the higher time frame direction becomes clear, then you can look for a bit more longer term plays if that's what you're looking for, which is essentially what I'm looking to do here. So yeah, pound USD shorts makes sense. We do have some momentum in the market. That was from the Bank of England last week, I believe. Yes, it was. And then looks like we're starting to see some momentum now. Let's see if we can pick that up. And there could be some more intraday shorts later on there for pound USD. And in terms of dollar CAD, as I said, I do really like dollar CAD. Very, very bearish with this one. Looking for more downside, however, still respecting support. So as I said yesterday, there's two opportunities I'm looking at for dollar CAD. Whether we come back to retest the high of the range and then we get the short. Again, looking at this as a massive fake out. Came back to retest some massive weekly levels. Huge rejection from that. So it's either price comes back to retest the high of the range. Look for some shorts up there. Or price breaks through the range low. And then we find some pullbacks off the back of that. And again, looking for the same move for a big relief of this bullish trend, because the market's been very bullish for a while. Haven't seen much of a correction yet for dollar CAD. There's a really big level here on the weekly chart, around 1.395. And should we see that bearish move, that's probably where we're going to end up. So that's kind of where I'll be targeting with some positions. But first things first, need to get that set up. At the moment, still dancing at support. So not really interested in terms of placing trades just yet. But should we move back to 1.45, or should we get the breaking test of that low, I'll be looking for entries and seeing how far we can take it. But yeah, the main kind of meat of the move is the big fake to the upside. Now expecting some follow through in the opposite direction. So that is what I'm waiting patiently for dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, again, still very much stuck in that consolidation. So again, looking at this as potentially a bit of a bottom for the trend. Again, it may just be a temporary bottom and price may continue, but again, looking where we're trading, massive lows to our left. If it goes to the weekly chart, massive lows over here, really big move to the upside. Last time we traded these prices, we're here again, struggling to break through. And since we've been bearish for quite a few weeks, a few months now as well, I do think we can have a bit of a breather. So I'm looking for some upside there for Aussie dollar as well. Again, no kind of clear-cut buy setup just yet. At the moment, looks like we're kind of just consolidating over here. So looking to see if we can go and break the high. So show some intent to the upside, because we just went and take out the lows there. So let's see if we can take out the highs. Then again, look for some pullbacks of that, and then talk about some higher lows. And then that will be the opportunity which I'll look to see if I can take advantage of course, in terms of specifically where possibly might be the retest, the consolidation, depends how we break out. But more or less, that's what I'll be looking for Aussie dollar. If there's going to be a low of this trend that we've seen for a while now, then there could be a lot of upside for that. So anticipating some upside for Aussie dollar, not quite ready yet, but something like this is what I'll be looking for over the next few days. New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same thing. Again, very, very similar pairs. So you can expect them to do the same thing 90% of the time. So again, as you can see, consolidation there. We faked the highs once, faked the lows once as well. So the market doesn't really know what it's doing. However, since we've been trending to the downside for a while, we're coming back into some big lows on the left. Again, this could be a bit of a temporary bottom for price to see some upside, and it well could end up giving us a big sell-off, which is fine because I'm not looking for a ginormous buy, but there is opportunity to the upside is what I'm getting at here for New Zealand dollar as well. So same situation with Aussie dollar. Looks like this one's forming a bit more of a flag pattern, so a bit of a correction like so. If you could break to the upside, take out the high, there could be some nice corrections, possibly to come back and retest the high there. So of course, taking out the highs there on the left. And then this is what I'll be interested in for New Zealand dollar, trying to find the higher low to continue that to the upside. So bullish on New Zealand dollar, bullish on Aussie dollar. Just being patient for opportunities, because at the moment we're in the middle of the range, so I'm not really interested about doing anything, but it does look like we're slowly getting ready for some buys. In terms of gold, so gold's still pretty bullish. Again, impressive breakout to the upside yesterday. Really strong close. I believe that was on the 4-hour. Yeah, so that was when we were doing the stream. Price just closed there and continued. And we've had a bit of a drop since then, but we have left behind some healthy structure. So I wouldn't mind to see price come back and retest that. I think from an intraday level, drop to the hourly chart, I think this could be a really nice place for a long, trying to catch that next higher low and see if you can ride it back to where we came from, which is 29.35. That 3K level is not too far away now. That could be where price is slowly working its way towards. We smashed through 2,900. We've got 29.50. Probably keep an eye on that, just shy of that. But yeah, I do expect to see more upside for gold. Of course, at some point, we will get that bigger correction. Gold's literally been flying since the 19th of December, around then. Haven't seen much of a pullback since that day, really. So I do think eventually we will get that bigger pullback for gold. But at the moment in time, there is no sign of that bigger pullback happening. No break of structure, no double tops. Momentum is still very much with the buyers, even despite that bearish close down the 4-hour chart. So still expecting more upside. 28.75 looks like a really nice area. I'll probably suggest hourly chart, probably get you some nice entries. And of course, a swing back to the high makes the most sense. And then, of course, you got your lovely silver, which again, I'm expecting to follow gold. I haven't been the biggest fan of the entries here since we did get the fake to the upside. So I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm looking at a slightly deeper correction, but I am looking at buy still for silver. This is still the last major high low. So as long as price is still respecting that area, the buys are still technically valid. Of course, it's up to me to decide to take the buy or not if it's sort of enough quality, if it fits my plan well. So that's what I'm still waiting for on silver. But the fact that we took the highs out is very significant to me. So I'm still very bullish on silver. Lovely double bottom there. Since then, we've been forming really nice higher lows. I'm looking for the next one. But since we did get that fake to the upside, I do think we can see a slightly deeper correction for New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar, where did that come from? From silver before I do take any entries. But again, the same plan still stands. Looking for a massive swing back to the swing high up there at 34.857. So still very, very bullish in silver, very bullish in gold as well. No entries just yet, but being patient.